It's a chilly morning in the grand halls of Hampton Court Palace. Sunlight filters through the tall stained glass windows, casting colorful patterns on the cold stone floor. Servants hurry about delivering patterns of roasted meats, fruits, and wine to the long table where King Henry VIII sits, broad and commanding, in a velvet jacket embroidered with gold. His gaze shifts around the room as he clears his throat, setting a tone of authority. At the far end of the table sits his queen. A crimson silk gown gleams in the light, the fitted bodice and jeweled belt accentuating her graceful form. Her lips are tight, her eyes distant, as she observed the scene unfolding before her. The queen's attention flickers to her maid, now standing a little too close to Henry. Their conversation is soft, but the air between them is charged. Henry's voice warm as he leans in closer. The girl's eyes meet his. She smiles, pallid but distant, and her laughter, light but carefully restrained, lingers in the air as she gently pulls back from his advances. Harry's smile falters, but he quickly recovers, his eyes flicking to Catherine, who watches with quiet, pained composure. The queen felt the weight of his attention shift and something darker creep into her chest. The subtle rejection of his flirtation does little to ease her growing suspicion. And with every passing moment, the distance between her and her husband grows. Catherine knows she's losing him.
Catherine? Which one? The one who died?
Well, yeah, maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Well, spoiler alert, they all...
See? That's the problem with you. When I was watching The Crown on Netflix, you ruined it. And then I was watching Sissy the Empress, and you did the same. Now this? Really?
What kind of person are you? Don't you have any culture? Everyone knows they all died.
I'm pretty sure no one knows about that.
In a way, I hope you're right, because that's what today's episode is about.
How scandalous.
No way.
I didn't know that.
You're kidding me.
No.
Tell me more about it.
History Gossip, the podcast spilling the tea on history's wildest stories, iconic royal drama, and the most chaotic events.
Hi, and welcome to the newest episode of History Gossip, the podcast that tracks down the most bizarre stories, habits, or events of history. I'm Roman, your host for today.
And I'm Katja.
Today we tackle the ultimate Tudor tea party, the 6 wives of Henry VIII. Lovely story, with probably more beheading than love.
Oh, you had me at beheadings. I'm ready for the drama. So how does it start? Was Henry always a walking red flag?
Kinda.
Reality check.
Alright, let's start by talking about the main character of today's episode, the one and only Henry VIII. Yes, the guy who had 6 wives. 6. Let that sink in for a second. But before we dive into all the drama, and there's a lot, let's do a quick bio. Henry VIII was born on June 28, 1491 in Greenwich, England. He was the second son of King Henry VII and Elizabeth of York. So technically, he wasn't even supposed to be king. He became king in 1509 at just 17 years old.
What? Imagine a 17-year-old boy ruling over an empire.
Yeah, wait. You'll understand all that later. And Henry became very popular at the time.
Popular? Was he hot?
Well, when he was young, Henry was the guy. He was a tall, super fit, and had a strong jawline. Unfortunately, as he got older, things changed. Let's say that he really liked food. He gained some weight and got really big, over 300 pounds.
So old Henry wasn't super fit?
Not really, but this didn't stop him from finding 6 wives and numerous mistresses.
Tell me more.
Right, let's begin with Catherine of Aragon, daughter of Spanish monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella. She first married Henry's older brother, Arthur, but Arthur died young. To avoid losing the dowry, the king at the time, Henry's father, Henry VII, arranged for her to marry his second son, Henry VIII. The marriage lasted 24 years, but the problem? No surviving male heir. In fact, Catherine gave him 6 children, but only one survived, Mary. The king wanted an heir, a man, so he decided to annul the marriage.
So wait, she's been queen for 2 decades, gives him a daughter, and he still dumps her for being too old?
Yeah, after 25 years of marriage, Henry thought she was too old to give him another child.
Man, classic.
Anyways, she was exiled and died a few years later. Blah, blah, blah. The next one, wife number 2, is Anne Boleyn, the mistress turned queen.
Wait, that is the one from the story you just told me, right?
Yeah, exactly. She and Harry married in secret.
Oh, like a small committee?
No, like they didn't tell anybody. Then she gave Henry another daughter, Elizabeth, but no son.
Elizabeth? The Elizabeth?
Yeah, Queen of England.
Oh my god, I can't believe she died like 2 years ago.
But I'm talking about Elizabeth I, not the second. We are in the middle of the 16th century, Katja.
Oh, yep, that makes more sense.
Anyways, let's focus on Anne. Back in 1520s, adultery and incest. Actually, she was accused of a lot of things. People thought she was a witch, and that at the beginning of their love story, she seduced Henry with black magic. Apparently, some even say that she had a sixth finger on her hand, a mark of the devil.
And was it true?
I don't know. Never met her.
And how did the marriage end?
The question is how her life ended. Beheaded. She deserved it. I mean, she had cheated on the king, who himself had cheated on his ex-wife with her. Lovely.
Romain, you cannot say something like that. He killed her.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. This was wife number 2 out of 6. So I don't have all day, so I hope you've got more tea to spill. Who's next?
His third wife was Jane Seymour. She was Anne's lady-in-waiting.
Oh wow, he always wanted the maids of his queen's yard.
Yeah, maybe they just should not have hired anyone anymore. And funny thing, they get married on the same day Anne gets her head chopped off. Honestly, thank God Jane actually gave him a son, Edward. The king must have been living for that.
So she was the one?
Oops, forgot a detail. She was the one who died giving birth to Henry's son.
You gotta be kidding me.
Number 4 is Anne of Cleves.
You go on as we were talking about cars.
My father kept the same car longer than Henry keeps his wife. Anyways, Harry married Anne of Cleves for political reason. After 6 months, they annulled the marriage. Harry thought she wasn't attractive enough. Allegedly, Anne and Harry remained friends after that. She even lived the rest of her life in England, treated as Henry's sister.
So she gets a palace, a pension, and no beheadings? How lucky?
Lucky, you think? Imagine the king dumps you in front of the whole country because you're too ugly for him.
Okay, maybe lucky is too much. But what's the moral of the story here? If you marry Henry VIII, you better hope you're not his type.
Yeah, I guess. Next one.
It's hard to follow, but yeah, next one.
Catherine Howard, also known as Anne Boleyn's cousin. You know Anne, Harry VIII's second wife? The one he had beheaded in the Tower of London.
What the? I would have left England ASAP if the king had executed my cousin. But no, she kept the audacity to marry him anyway. Bold move, wow.
Especially since she and the king were more than 25 years apart.
Oh my god, it's totally giving Leonardo DiCaprio vibes. Like, he's not even that hot anymore, only dates younger girls and then ditches them as soon as they hit the expiration date.
But I believe it was allowed at the time. I mean, she married the same man as her cousin, so I guess so. Oh, and she also died just like her. Twins! Catherine was accused of adultery and executed in 1542. It was another unhappy marriage for Henry, and another woman sentenced to death.
This is getting boring.
Don't worry, we're almost done. Finally, let's talk about his last wife. Last only because he died before he could probably marry another one. Catherine Parr.
Catherine again, 3 Catherines, 2 Annes. Well, now we know what names were trendy at the time.
True. She was considered an energetic and intelligent young woman, taking her role as stepmother to Henry's children to heart. However, she was also just like him, a fan of marriage.
No wonder they matched.
Yeah, Henry VIII was her third husband and not the last. He died on January 28, 1547. After this tragic event, she remarried a 4th time to Thomas Seymour.
Seymour? That name sounds familiar.
Well, simply because Thomas Seymour is the brother of Jane Seymour, Henry's 3rd wife. So Thomas Seymour became Catherine Parr's 4th husband. Unfortunately, Catherine Parr died a few years later while giving birth to their first child.
I know that's not incest, but it sounds totally wrong to me. Bah!
Catcher, it was the 16th century. A sign of the time, as Aristotle says.
Okay, but what about the Kingdom of England? What happens after Henry VIII died?
After Henry's death, his son Edward, the one he had with Jane Seymour, became king. But here's the thing, Edward was only 9 years old, so he couldn't exactly rule on his own.
Oh, so 9 was where they drew the line for ruling? But Henry VIII became king at 17, no problem? Seriously? Remember that Cleopatra's son became co-ruler as 3 years old.
As I said, sign of the time. Anyway, it was Thomas and Jane Seymour's brother, Edward Seymour, who stepped in as the Lord Protector of the kingdom.
What a story.
Right. I feel like I could now give you some random fun facts about Henry VIII, his reign and his wives. Like that, you will be able to win the next pub quiz thanks to me.
Sure, let's go.
Okay, first fun fact. Passionate about the arts, he played good music and composed songs, including the famous Pastime with Good Company.
He thought he was Mozart, though. What?
Actually, Mozart was born 200 years later, but he may well have inspired him. Who knows? Did you also know that he challenged papal authority?
Oh, sounds bad.
Yeah, frustrated by Pope Clement VII's refusal to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. Remember, the first one who didn't give him a son? Henry declared himself supreme head of the church. He established the Church of England. And because of that, his marriage to Anne Boleyn caused 200 years of religious conflicts in the United Kingdom.
Really is a long time.
Yes. And in addition to that, his love letters to Anne Boleyn ended up at the Vatican archives in Rome. Up to the next fact. Did you know that Henry ate 5,000 calories a day? In your opinion, that corresponds to how many burgers per day?
I don't know, 4? It already seems like a lot.
Not really. The answer is closer than 5 to 7 burgers a day.
Yeah, Henry, you can tell nobody that there were muscles. Don't want to see his cholesterol values.
Finally, his first daughter Mary I became known as Bloody Mary for her attempt to bring back Catholicism. During her reign, which started after the death of her brother Edward, she had over 280 Protestants executed, many burned at the stake. So yeah, you get it. Bloody Mary.
Oh, I'm getting thirsty now.
Not the drink, Katja. You're always thinking about food.
There's also a haunting ghost story.
Alright. To conclude, Henry VIII's wives all played important roles, not only in the life of the king, but also in the history of England. And to be fair, as I said in the beginning, they all die in the end, but it did not kill all of them.
Wow, Roman. Wow, people die. That's revolutionary.
Let me finish. You could just remember the famous rhyme to remember their story. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. Each of them left a unique mark on the era. And I'm saying left because they also left their lives behind.
So what's the moral of the story?
If Henry VIII swipes right, maybe swipe left.
Exactly.
Well, it's time to drink up your coffee. Thanks for joining us for this wild ride through Tudor history. See you for another fascinating episode.
Bye!
Thank you for listening to History Gossip. This episode was written by your host, Roman Dujardin, co-host, Katja Haumer, concept and project management, Lena Jansa and Melanie Schönberger, editing, Melanie Schönberger. History Gossip is a project developed by students of the University of Vienna.